the Samsung NX1. It's over 10 years at this point that this camera came out. Is it worth it in 2025? Well, before I answer that, definitely consider subscribing. I like to talk about cameras, mirrorless cameras, and DSLR cameras, specifically for video. And if you like that type of stuff, subscribe. But let's get started with my history with the Samsung NX1. This YouTube channel I've had since, honestly, YouTube came out, but it really didn't gain traction until 2016 when I decided to just make a video about a camera. And that camera was the Samsung NX1. It had amazing specs at the time that I had it, which was 2016, even though the camera came out, I think, either late 2014, early 2015. The camera boasted 4K up to 30 frames per second, slow motion with audio and autofocus in 1080p up to 120 frames per second, dual pixel autofocus, a bunch of autofocus points on the camera itself, 15 frames per second photos, backside illuminated sensor. It goes on and on about all the stuff this camera can do. And I do remember that there was a lot of talk at the time when reviewers were reviewing the camera as to, well, one thing I don't like about it is that I can't preview video mode when I play it. The camera does actually have a video mode. Just hit the button on the right and then it just went straight into video preview mode. So anyway, that's just me complaining. But what about this camera? What is it that made it so special besides the specs? It was the fact that Samsung was forward thinking at the time, and they put next level things like, sure, you're recording in an SD card, but at the time, recording 4K in an SD card was actually quite rare. So they decided to implement the H.265 codec, which is actually commonly used now today, but it wasn't back then. It was hard to edit, if not impossible, though it did come out with software that let you convert it into an editable format, because even the NLEs like Premiere and Final Cut Pro didn't allow you to edit H.26 files. It was just too much for computers back then, and you needed a video card that would be able to process that type of footage. So that was a struggle, but they were trying to be efficient, high quality footage, and future-proofing themselves. And then Samsung just kind of dropped out. What happened? Well, something that you may or may not know about me, especially if you've watched this channel over the years, you might already know, is that I worked for Samsung for over 20 years. No longer work there now, so let me just clear that up right away. But I did work with them during the time that Samsung was in the camera industry. And when they released the NX1, I was with the company. And it was really pushed a lot. And I really was excited because I loved cameras even back then. I actually owned a full frame Canon before I bought into the Samsung NX1. I had the Canon 6D. But the NX1 in itself was next level because the 6D didn't have video autofocus. The 6D did not record 4K at 30 frames per second using the full frame. The 6D was not the resolution that the NX1 was. And the NX1 also can take that whole 6K, that 29 megapixel sensor, and downsample it for the 4K, giving you really detailed, really sharp footage to the point where you were getting more A, and you had to turn the sharpening down in camera. But I've used it for events where I needed to crop in the footage, and it almost comes close to the fact that you're working with 6K footage. It's hard to tell the difference between the fact that it was just downsampled 4K or actual true 6K. And in today's world, I'm recording with a 6K camera right now, whose resolution is still not as high as the NX1's resolution was way back when. So that is pretty innovative for a camera that's 10 years old and is still relevant today. Now, on to the whole reason why Samsung might have bowed out of the camera industry. Again, I'm no longer with them. But when I was with them and it was happening, I didn't hear anything about it. There were employees there that also didn't hear anything about it. We just were fans of the camera industry, and then when things moved away from how we used to. I say we like I'm still there, because I had an amazing time working at that company, and the people there are just amazing too. They really work hard to deliver the best for their customers, and being a part of that company, you can't take away those 20 plus years away from me, and I'll always appreciate my time at Samsung. So with that being said, employees liked it. Employees wanted to continue pick up lenses and try out the cameras because they make a good quality product, and they did. I know that like channels like Camera Conspiracies talked about the NX1 years after it had already been discontinued. So that camera was relevant and actually affected a lot of people, though it wasn't as successful as we wished it could have been. I mean, imagine they were still making cameras today. But that's the thing. Samsung still makes cameras to this day. They focused, from what I believe, again, I was not internally told this information, but the way that I saw it was that they focused their cameras on their phones. If you think about it, Samsung makes more cameras than most of the companies that we talk about all the time, but they're just in the phones. Now, iPhones are successful as well with their cameras, and that's the -- camera in the world. Coming close to that is Samsung. So those that say like, oh, they should get back in the camera industry, they're just approaching it from a different standpoint. And yeah, they had amazing lenses at the time, and they didn't have many, but they were still good. And there were adapters that you could use on the Samsung NX line of cameras so that you can, for example, convert your Canon EF lenses to work with the Samsung NX line. So you could still, test out the Samsungs, but you really didn't get the true functionality of the camera without native lenses. But now it's just gone. So with this legacy, would I use the camera, or do I still use the camera after 10 years? Now, this is just one of 2 Samsung NX1s that I own. I have this one, and then I have one stored behind me in that little lit area that you see. But the Samsungs in itself, they are not as often as used as I used to use them. I used them all the time for many years for dance recitals, and I used them for documentary recording. I've been recording, and still kind of am, a documentary of my growth on YouTube and my camera of choice, because it's small, because it's easy to take with me, and because the autofocus is pretty good, and it's lighter than my full frame cameras. It's the NX1. And I love the colors. The colors in this are pretty good as well. Though it only records in 8-bit 420, right? They still really pop, so where you won't have to really tweak the colors a little too much, as long as you get your white balance and exposure setting correct, like that's mandatory. If you get those correct, you're gonna really love the image that comes out of this camera. And I do every time. It's been a while since I take it out, and then I pop it in and see like the footage. I love it. So I reached out and I grabbed it. This is a few hours later, actually, if you haven't noticed. I had to get some stuff done. I had to eat a little bit and then get right back into it. But I did eventually grab the camera from back there. Oh, it looks like one of my lights started to. Oh no. Totally fine. We can still keep going. So this is the Samsung 16-50 f2-2.8 S lens. It was one of their high-end lenses. I bought both of their really high-end S lenses because I like the look of it really good. What I wanted to show you too is that, look, there is a video mode that constantly stays on, and I was trying to show you with my other camera, but that's the video mode when it's on, and then that's photo mode. So photo mode, video mode, photo mode, video. It just was weird because a lot of cameras have like a dial or a certain setting to switch between both of them, and this one, it was literally just as easy as doing that. But since there was no actual indication that you were doing that, it kind of caused you to get confused, and a lot of people to get confused when it came to relating that. So after 10 years, like I do use these cameras on and off. Like I said, I did with dance recitals for many years, but if I were to use it for anything today, it was that documentary, like I said before. But also, because the body is so light, this body is one of my lightest cameras that can shoot really great video. The next up was like the GH5, which is not bad as well. It's not often that you get such a light package that could do such professional looking video. That has taken me throughout the years. There's a lot different and better options now. FX3, one of them being pretty light, but so's the new Nikon ZR, which is something that I'm like 90% sure I'm going to pick up. And I've never owned a Nikon camera. This Samsung camera has done so much, and one thing that a lot of cameras don't have, it's got an ABF, and it's almost like no lag time, but the other thing that it's got that a lot of like higher end cameras don't is a built-in flash. Now, I would never use this built-in flash mixed with this lens, because what you get is like the shadow of the lens that pops out. But if you've got like a little, more like a pancake lens hooked up to it and you use the flash, it actually works. And the fact that it's like on it right here and you just press a button and it pops up real quick, that is convenient. Not the best, but it's better to have something than not have it at all, I'd say, right? So, you know, like I said before, to kind of wrap this up, Samsung continues to make cameras to this day. If you want to consider yourself or wonder what would Samsung do if they were still in the camera market, just buy one of their latest smartphones. That's kind of what they would do. The unfortunate thing is that you don't get the benefits of having a larger sensor and having all of these innovative menus that are specifically for larger cameras. However, you do get the ability to edit right on the device and then upload it immediately to social media platforms, which is cool, which is a good thing too. So if you want a Samsung camera from 2025, pick up their phones. And I would suggest getting the S25 Ultra. That is probably one of their best cameras that you can purchase at this point right now. But I'm still hanging on to a camera from 10 years ago. And, you know, sometimes you want to dive into something and sometimes an industry doesn't work for you and you want to move into something more profitable. And I'll give you a secret example. If you stuck around to the end, I'm going to show you something that was really never released, but, you know, doesn't hurt to try. See this? There was a time where everyone wanted Alexa, or you had other different smart speakers, right, that would talk to you. Well, Samsung came out with one like this, called it Bixby. So this is like a Bixby, like it's on everyone's Samsung phone. We actually had a little speaker that was Bixby related, and this was never released, but I got to test it out because I was an employee of Samsung. So when I did, I had fun with it, right? But, you know, it never really was released to market. And if I try to use it now, which I normally would try to use it and show you guys what it's like, it doesn't do anything because it's outdated and Samsung phones don't even support the software that connect to these so that you could program it. So it is what it is. This belongs to another generation. But yeah, so Samsung NX1, incredible camera. Do you guys have one? Are you interested in one? I would suggest not picking one up only because you really get no support. I actually messed up my 50-150 S lens, which is an incredible lens. And when I called Samsung support, they unfortunately could not help me. So I was screwed when it comes to that lens. So it just kind of sits as a relic in the back. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. And as always, you can make my day if you subscribe to this Magnus and I'm out. I'll leave a link for some items down there when it comes to like cameras that I do actually pay attention to, or accessories. And those affiliate links don't cost you anymore, but they do help support this channel. So I'm very grateful for you guys to always watch. And next time, I got another interesting video. Till then, just watch what's on the side here. Take care. It's what YouTube recommended, so